A fight! Count me in!
Let's see how many ways you can disappoint me.
For those unfamiliar, which is likely no one watching this video, Hearthstone is a digital card game similar to Magic the Gathering that is developed by Blizzard Entertainment, who are the same developers responsible for the Warcraft franchise. And Hearthstone's good. It's really good. The graphics are colorful, the animations are smooth, and the music? Oh yeah. In fact, it is by far the most popular digital trading card game available today, except there is one small but huge problem. It's not a trading card game. As a former game store owner who witnessed the passion of Magic the Gathering card players buying, selling, and trading their cards, I saw how excited players were that in addition to being able to play a game that they love, they could also gain monetarily from purchasing assets that just so happen to also be their favorite pastime. Unlike traditional sports cards, for example, whose value is derived based solely on rarity and collectability, Magic cards and other cards of their ilk also have a functional value. The cards could actually be used. Don't get me wrong, Hearthstone cards can be used to great effect, but the major missing ingredient, from my perspective anyway, is ownership. I don't own any of my Hearthstone cards. I can't sell them or trade them with my friends. I can't borrow against them or store them in a wallet. They are simply a money sink. Now, sure, you can dust your cards and utilize the dust to craft new ones, but that does not personally benefit me monetarily. That function is simply a byproduct of the ecosystem that Blizzard has developed in an effort to make their game more appealing. Not that there is necessarily anything wrong with that. Like I said, Hearthstone's a great game. There are lots of games that I've purchased knowing that the money spent is simply for my own enjoyment and relaxation. That being said, I almost never purchase digital games since I want the physical copy so I can buy, sell, trade it as I please. To be honest, the issue of ownership, specifically as it relates to Hearthstone cards, really hasn't bothered me that much until recently, but now it makes me kind of crazy. Why is that, you ask? Simple. Now there are options. Enter Gods Unchained, a Hearthstone Magic-like digital trading card game, and when I say trading card game, I actually mean it. Dissimilar to games like Hearthstone, the cards you earn and craft in Gods Unchained are yours. Those cards are minted as NFTs, non-fungible tokens on the blockchain. Users can buy, sell, and trade those NFTs as they see fit. You actually get to own your cards. For me, this is very exciting. I want to own my stuff. I want to take part in the game's ecosystem as a partner. I truly believe that when average gamers, not just competitive game championship players, get the sense that they can monetarily benefit from participating in a game's community, it will create a whole other level of staying power for that game. To a certain extent, we do see that in non-blockchain games now. There are entire businesses that have been built by farming World of Warcraft equipment and selling it on eBay, a kind of ownership workaround, if you will, but even in that case, no one truly owns those digital items. That's what makes games like Gods Unchained so exciting. True ownership of digital goods. Some of the particularly rare cards from Gods Unchained are selling for thousands of dollars. Not bad for simply playing a game you enjoy. So what's the catch? Gods Unchained just isn't as fun as Hearthstone. Blizzard Entertainment has been around a long time. They have the financial backing and pedigree to attract the creme de la creme of game developers. That's not to say that Gods Unchained doesn't have some great developers. I truly don't know. But what I do know is that if you play a game of Gods Unchained right after playing a game of Hearthstone, it feels clunky. Simply using the game client and navigating the user interface is somewhat counterintuitive. Load times seem longer, crashes and disconnects seem more frequent, and overall the game just feels less polished. One of the best parts of a trading card game is building your own custom deck to use against opponents, but even that experience is somewhat muted given the awkward user interface. One has to wonder why deck building is a separate interface from the game itself. Perhaps there is a reasonable technical explanation for this, but Gods Unchained developers should be aware that others will be wondering the same thing. My last criticism of Gods Unchained is that it's just kind of confusing. There are multiple currencies utilized in the game, and deciphering which one does what and when can be kind of a challenge. Granted, they do have extensive learning resources on their website, and their Discord is quite helpful, but it can still feel a bit overwhelming. That being said, players interested can play for free and participate in free weekend tournaments where they can earn cards that are worth actual money. I really like Hearthstone, but I am going to quit. I just can't tell you exactly when. I want to participate in a game community that allows me ownership of digital goods that I can do with what I please. That being said, it's hard to justify quitting one game for another when the chasm in quality is so wide and my free time is so limited. Gods Unchained has offered me what I believe to be a glimmer of the future. With further refinement and development, maybe Gods Unchained can convince me to move on from Hearthstone once and for all. Or perhaps another game will come along that will do so. A game that offers me true ownership of digital assets does not have to be as good as Hearthstone to convince me to make the switch. It just has to be kind of sort of close. Ultimately, it comes down to how one weighs the different aspects of a game, fun factor, polish, asset ownership, etc., to determine if one wants to make a change. For me, digital asset ownership matters a whole heck of a lot, and I'm looking forward to the game that has the right combination of the aforementioned game aspects to allow me to move on from Hearthstone. Better yet, now that Microsoft owns Blizzard, Microsoft should utilize Hearthstone as a stepping stone into the metaverse and move to make Hearthstone a blockchain NFT game. What do you think? Have you thought about leaving a more traditional game for a blockchain game? Do you think digital asset ownership is the future? Have any game recommendations? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Blue Reviews.